Your body burns fat in a specific order, and your belly is literally last in line. That stubborn pouch you've been trying to lose, it has biological bodyguards protecting it, and most fasting schedules never get aggressive enough to fire them. But today, I'm going to show you the exact fasting timeline that finally forces your body to dig into those stubborn fat stores, backed by research you've probably never heard of. So here's the thing nobody tells you about fat loss. You've probably noticed this yourself. You start losing weight, your face gets leaner, your arms slim down, maybe your legs too. But your belly, your love handles, they're just sitting there like they didn't get the memo. And you're thinking, what is wrong with my body? Nothing. Nothing is wrong with your body. Your body is actually working exactly as designed. The problem is that stubborn fat areas have what I call a triple lock security system. And most people never fast long enough to break through all three locks. Let me explain the first lock, and this one's going to blow your mind. Your fat cells have tiny receptors on them, like little doors. Two types matter here. Beta 2 receptors, these are the good guys. When adrenaline knocks on these doors, they swing wide open and fat comes pouring out. Beautiful. But then there's alpha 2 receptors. These are the bouncers. When adrenaline shows up, these receptors actually block fat from leaving. They're like that friend who says they'll help you move, but then just stands there eating pizza. Now here's where it gets interesting. The fat on your arms? Mostly beta 2 receptors. Easy access. The fat on your belly, love handles, thighs? Researchers found these areas have approximately a 9-to-1 ratio of alpha 2 to beta 2 receptors. 9 bouncers for every 1 open door. Your stubborn fat is basically running an exclusive nightclub that doesn't want to let anyone out. But wait, it gets worse. Lock number 2 is blood flow. You'd think when your body releases adrenaline to burn fat, blood flow to fat tissue would increase, right? You need blood to carry those fatty acids away. And in normal fat areas, that's exactly what happens. But stubborn fat regions do something completely backwards. When adrenaline hits, the blood vessels in your stubborn fat actually constrict. They get tighter. Researchers measured this and found your belly fat gets about 15% less blood flow than upper body fat. Your stubborn fat is not only refusing to release fat, it's also making it harder for the getaway car to even show up. And then there's lock number 3, insulin sensitivity. Stubborn subcutaneous fat is way more sensitive to insulin stop signal than visceral fat. Every time you eat, insulin rises and basically screams at your fat cells. Stop releasing fat immediately. And your belly fat listens really, really well. It's like that one employee who takes every rule way too seriously. So you've got stubborn fat protected by receptor bouncers, restricted blood flow, and an overactive insulin alarm system. This is why doing a 16-hour fast and expecting your love handles to melt is like showing up to Fort Knox with a paperclip and optimism. But here's the good news. Your body has a way to break through all three locks. You just need to fast long enough to trigger it. Let me walk you through the timeline. At 12 to 16 hours, you're just getting started. Your liver glycogen, that's your stored carbs, drops to about 50%. Insulin starts falling. You're burning some fat, sure, but mostly the easy stuff. Your stubborn fat is watching from a distance, completely unbothered. This is standard 16-8 intermittent fasting territory. It's good for metabolic health, but it's not particularly aggressive against stubborn fat. At 24 hours, things start getting interesting. Your liver glycogen is almost gone. Ketones are rising to 1 to 2 millimoles per liter. Your body is now running primarily on fat. But the real magic is what's happening to your catecholamines. That's adrenaline and noradrenaline. They're climbing. And here's what researchers discovered. After extended fasting, your fat tissue becomes more sensitive to these hormones. It's not just that you have more adrenaline floating around. Your fat cells actually respond better to it. The bouncers are starting to get tired. At 36 to 48 hours, this is where stubborn fat starts sweating. A study found that a 2-day fast triggers a 5-fold increase in growth hormone production. Not 5%, 5 times higher. Your body goes from producing about 78 micrograms to 371 micrograms over 24 hours. Growth hormone is incredibly lipolytic, meaning it directly stimulates fat breakdown. It's like your body finally called in the special forces. But here's what's even more important. At this point, insulin has been low for so long that the third lock is completely disabled. Remember, stubborn fat is super sensitive to insulin's stop signal. Well, that signal hasn't been sent in almost 2 days. The alarm system is silent. At 72 hours plus, researchers measured something fascinating. Norepinephrine levels had doubled, going from about 1,700 to over 3,700 picomoles per liter. Abdominal fat blood flow increased by 50%. The getaway car finally showed up. Meanwhile, thigh fat in the same study showed basically no change. Still being stubborn, but the body was clearly starting to prioritize belly fat mobilization. Now I know what you're thinking. I'm not doing a 72-hour fast. Are you crazy? And honestly, you don't have to go that extreme for most people. The research actually shows that alternate day fasting might be the sweet spot for stubborn fat. A 2024 study compared alternate day fasting to regular time-restricted eating over 4 weeks. Alternate day fasting reduced total fat by over 1,000 cubic centimeters. Time-restricted eating? Only 364. And here's the kicker. Alternate day fasting significantly reduced visceral fat, while time-restricted eating didn't even reach statistical significance for visceral fat loss. A separate study found intermittent fasting with proper protein intake produced 33% visceral fat reduction compared to just 14% with regular calorie restriction. That's more than double the stubborn fat loss. So what does this mean practically? If you've been doing 16-8 and wondering why your belly won't budge, the science suggests you might need to occasionally extend those fasts. A 36 to 48 hour fast once a week, or alternate day fasting, could be the key to finally triggering that stubborn fat release. You need to fast long enough for catecholamines to double, for growth hormone to surge 5-fold, and for insulin to stay low long enough that your stubborn fat security system completely shuts down. Your body isn't broken. It's just protecting energy reserves in the order it thinks matters most. Easy fat goes first because it's easy. Stubborn fat goes last because it's literally designed to be stubborn. But with the right fasting schedule, you can override that biological programming and finally force your body to dig into those protected stores. One last thing. If this made you understand your body a little better, hit that subscribe button. I break down the actual science behind fat loss, hormones, and metabolism. No bro science, just research. I'll see you in the next one.